Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we are going to be doing a video on the perfection list that I used to get top 8 this weekend at my League Cup and second at a League Challenge. I think the deck is super good right now and really, really powerful, and I'm going to talk about why. But before we get into it, I just want to let you guys know who are watching this video that I stream Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 8 p.m. EST on Twitch, twitch.tv/theflea with 4 E's. So come hang out, check it out. I tested this list on stream. This is kind of where the idea came from. So if you guys want to, get some cool ideas live and ask me questions as we're going and stuff, please check me out there. I would really appreciate it. Yeah, so let's get into the list. So I've been fascinated with Mewtwo as a card since it won Worlds, so naturally it's got to be a good card, right? Perfection's a pretty good ability, and I feel like it's been like really good, but the barrier to playing the deck has been simply getting the cards. So my promos came in earlier this week, and I had a League Challenge Friday, so I decided, let's build it, let's throw it together, let's see what happens. This guy is pretty strong. Flare Bits GX, 300 damage. This GX attack really makes this deck really, really, really strong. I think without this GX attack, the deck was kind of fighting for scraps with a lot of decks, and sometimes tempo could be an issue, but Flare Blitz GX really gives you a chance to just grab tempo early, and you scare the bejesus out of a lot of decks. So I also came across the idea on my stream, and Leighton Rumble, shout out to him, to play Muk Alolan Muk for Severe Poison GX. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions about what Muk is in the deck for, so I'm going to start by explaining that so everyone who's here for the list and Muk can just grab that and get out of here. So Muk Severe Poison says your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned, put 8 damage counters instead of 1 on that Pokemon between turns. So something like Blacephalon, you put 8 there, and then 8 coming back if they don't switch, and a lot of the time they're not going to switch. So the next turn you set up for a cross division and take 2 prizes on the bench. At least if you have 20 energy, you can take more than that even, or the 20 damage kicker, and then that 2 comes in and then ticks and kills them. So then you skip B-String turn there. Against Malamar, you can skip spell tag turns, or you can skip the spell tag to prevent that damage coming in, which then ideally lets you transition into a Miraculous Duo GX, letting you steal the game from there. And then you can just continue Venom Shotting until, this isn't Venom Shot, continue Venom Shotting and dodging the rest of the tags. Severe Poison also goes through Shedinja and deals with Poipole control, which is really good because, it's one of those things. And against Guardian, you go through Fairy Charm, Psychic, which is a little bit of a problem, and Fairy Charm Ability, which can also be kind of a problem. Sure, they play a lot of Switch and Healing cards, so it's a little less so for Guardian, but in the grand scheme of things, you can do all of that. And so that was my idea behind having Severe Poison, just having a lot of outs to some really annoying things that Mewtwo has to deal with. And the Giratina from Lost Thunder, if you have watched Azul's video, he talks about it a little bit. Distortion Door puts the 1/1 damage onto the board and lets you use the turn 2 Cross Divide to get 2 Inkay knockouts if you need to. But Shadow Impact is actually the real winner, where Shadow Impact is what you need to beat Keldeo-GX, and my area has been a lot of Nagquag, and I was a little bit concerned about that, so I chose to play the Giratina, so I could, you go for the first Shadow Impact, you Shadow Impact, hit the Keldeo, they hit you back, and then you one-shot it with Tina, and then, you finish the knockout, then they come up with the other Quag, or Keldeo, knock you out, and this is where you use your custom catchers, bring up something on the bench, Nag, Quag, preferably a Quag just to take a knockout and get another prize. So you get the Quag, you bring it up, you take the prize with Turbo Strike, put the Psychic onto the Giratina, then attach another energy to Giratina, and then you're back to Shadow Impacting. And at this point, you have a plethora of GX attacks that are probably available to you to close out the game. The Distortion Door plus the 20 damage counters also take care of the Mew and Dedenne at the same time, which is 3 prizes, which is really, really important in the Quagnag matchup, because Mewtwo can't really deal with more than 1 Keldeo. If you don't play Double Blaze, you can't deal with any Keldeos, and I'm not playing Double Blaze. That's the biggest thing for my list. Not playing Double Blaze means my Guardian matchup and my Nagquag matchup, my Guardian matchup was just worse than it would be if I did have the Reshiram, but I think that's the only matchup that gets hurt by not playing that card. Now, Naganadel-GX, you guys have seen it. Venom Shot's broken. You pretty much just start sniping away to Dennes and stuff. Really, really good. Magcargo is your big game closer with Lava Flow. Burning Magma, if that comes into play, but you have a lot better GX attacks. Namely this guy. The Flare Blitz, like I said earlier, he's probably the best GX attack in the deck. You have your 3 Dennes, the Solgaleo, the Espeon. No need to go into any detail on those guys. Your Turbo Strike is really good. Cross Division is one of the best GX attacks in the game, I think, right now. And it's not unreasonable to expect a turn 2 big cross division. And a lot of the time now, given the options like Muk, you don't have to cross division turn 2. You can just kind of play it a little bit slow and get what you need to get onto the board, because you're still getting 16 damage counters out of nowhere, or forcing them to burn resources to not take that 16, going into 24, depending on if they pass back into you with poison on them. Jirachi-GX, pretty staple. Latios, really, really staple. Tag Purge, Clear Vision. The Mirror gets played down with Clear Vision a lot. The Marshadow Resetting Hole. Now you'll notice a exclusion from my list, which is the Wobbuffet. I decided to cut the Wobbuffet because a lot of the people in my area are playing Stealthy Hood in their lists anyway. A lot of the ability Zards are playing 2 hoods. The Pikaroms are playing hoods. And it's just becoming kind of a card that is not doing anything and eating up a bench spot. So I decided that it would not be an inclusion for me this weekend. Just because I think this deck is allowed to play a little bit greedier and make your opponents not like play the thinking that I have something that I don't have, which is fine with me because that gives me an open slot, and an open slot in a deck like this, which is a toolbox deck, is a lot. There's 3 Acrobikes, 4 Cherish, 4 Custom, which is your typical cookie cutter thing. Electromagnetic Radar. I know the 9th place list didn't play one and played a 4th Treasure, but I think the Radar to get another out to Dedenne and being able to discard 2 cards is very valuable. Recycle System, pretty good card. Treasures. I played the Pal Pad over the Mewtwo because I tried the Mewtwo at the Friday challenge, and it felt like my bench was getting clogged way too quickly, and the Mewtwo wasn't getting the value that I would have liked it to have, whereas the Pal Pad, given that I would have a Hearth in play or something already, would make it a lot easier to find and use the Welder off of like a Dedenne follow-up or something, because I felt like a lot of the time I would be Dedenning anyway, rather than like saving the bench spot for Mewtwo, so I went with the Pal Pad for Saturday. There's 4 Gear, 2 Switch. I wanted a 3rd Switch really badly, honestly. 3 Hearth, a Viridian, 1 Bills, 4 Welder, and the energy counts. So my tournament started off round 1. I'll go with the challenge. That's a challenge. Round 1, I played against Malamar, and the matchup felt super free because I got the turn 2 cross division, perfect setup, and I just went ahead and took out Inkay, Ditto. Yeah, and like he just pretty much lost the game on the spot there. I went first. Game 2, I went up against another Malamar, and he went Inkay, Ditto, and I didn't have the cross division, so I rather just turbo striked his Jirachi to set up a guy on the bench, and he pretty much drew pass for the rest of the game because he expected me to kill the guys on the bench with cross division, just take the Ditto Inkay, and use the Jirachi to set up further, and chose to get a 3rd like Inkay out. Like he chose to get an Inkay out with a Treasure instead of getting a supporter for the following turn, because he felt like had I just gone cross division, he would have lost the game anyway, which I think was also true. Because then I go 3 up, and I get at least 1 more knockout with that Mew 3, and then the game pretty much is over. The 3rd round, I went up against a mirror match, actually, and my opponent was not playing the Big Boy Zard, and he went ahead and clear visioned me pretty early in the game. And so as soon as he clear visioned me, I went ahead and used Muk Severe Poison, and he really was confused on what was going on, and he let that Mew 3 stay up because he tag purged me, and he thought that removed everything, but nothing changed. And so he goes to 24 in between turns pretty much, and I went ahead and used, pretty much got this guy out of the active, went into this guy, and went into tag purge, and the game pretty much was over from there because he couldn't touch this, and then, yeah, the game was like just over. Round 4, I went against an Ability Zard, I want to say. No, I went against a Pikarom. No, Malamar again. I went against Malamar again, and this time it got a lot closer because I prized Jirachi-GX. Prizing Jirachi meant that he was going to be able to go ping, knock this out, and he did that using a pair of custom catchers, which was his last 3rd and 4th ones. So at that point, I kind of knew the game was over, and there was a couple of turns. He stamped me low, too, because he played 2 Stamp in his Malamar. He was playing the Tina Chump version, and it came down to a position where I would have absolutely needed to hit a Welder. I had, like, my deck ended up at the end of the game being, like, Welder, Gear, something, and I needed to not hit one of the 2 blanks, for 2 turns. I had 2 turns to not hit the blanks. And I had to just hit the Welder to get the energy attachment into play and beat him, because I was short 1 energy attachment of just doing it manually and beating him with cross division, because I didn't use cross division at all early, so I was just saving it for the late game, because he put a lot of pressure on me, and things were just going unfortunate. But I was up like 6-1 prizes, so I was just absolutely chilling. And I drew for turn. It was a blank. I hearthed it away so he couldn't stamp me again in case he played a 3rd stamp. And then he did something, and I drew for turn. It was the Welder, and I was like, cool, thanks. And I went Welder, put it, draw the rest of my deck, attach the energy from hand, and then I went cross division for game. Because that was the last possible turn I could do anything, because if I promote anything else, he would just kill my take the prize, because he went kill a Mew the turn before and then killed a Dedenne the next turn, and he was down to 1 prize. So it would have been easy for him to just go Esper knockout on something. So then the last round I go up against Green Zard, and I chose to ID, not because the matchup was bad, but I thought my resistance was better. But all three of my four opponents lost that last round, making me bubble or miss first place by 0.33%, which serves me right. I should have just played it out and won. Fast forward, we go to the next day, go to the Cup. I would have going to change decks, but I went to bed and I woke up and I decided that sleeping for another 40 minutes was worth it and not switching decks. So I just chose not to switch decks. We get to the event. I was thinking about cutting the Tina in favor of something else, and I decided that that would be the better card to keep in over the Wob or anything, because it just felt like there was going to be some Quagnag in my area, and I saw a lot of the same faces who had played Quagnag before in the weekend before playing it again. Round 1 of the event, I sit down, I'm playing against Mirror. I opened this Thicko. I got the Psychic Attachment, and I went Welder to him, 2 energies. I drew my 3 cards, and I passed. And he opened Latios, and he pretty much got the ideal turn 1, hit the Welder, everything. He hit the Welder, and then he benched the Charizard, and then he retreated, and he was about to Turbo Strike with Mewtwo, and then he realized that he could just use Hearth to get the fire, and just win the game with the GX, because weakness, and he did that. It was a newer player, it looked like. And so he pretty much got the game off that. I mean, my hand was it was like a bunch of energies and like custom catchers, and I was just like, this is not good. So I got donked game 1, and I was like, this is unfortunate. Like, that was a pretty unlucky, start. Round 2, I went up against Ultra Necrozma, and I priced Jirachi, so that got really scary. I got the turn 1 double knockout with the Tina Cross Division, going second. So I left him inkaless. And then I proceeded to take another knockout, and then he went ping the Mewtwo on my bench, and then bring it up and kill it with his Tina. And then the game got a little bit scary, because I had 1 Mew3 left, and I brought up his Ultra Necrozma that he put energies on, and popped it, but he only had 1 Malamar in play, no in case. So he went bench another Ultra, attached to it, attached the Psychic, and I'm at 1, he's at 3. So rather than, he had a Tina with 40 on it and a tag, and rather than retreating to the Tina that was already powered up to hit me for 260, and then I attack him, forcing sudden death, he chose to retreat into the Ultra Necrozma, and I think I lose every time if he just goes. My deck had 5 outs out of a 10-card deck, 5 or 6 outs to a Welder to end the game. With a Venom Shot, I was 1 energy short. I was just Venom Shotting for game. So I had to make, I was just playing to my outs, and he thought I think I had it, and he brought up the Ultra Necrozma and just passed. And what I think he should have done is just straight up used his Ultra Necrozma's GX that turn, putting the damage counters on my board, and the following turn he has Tina for checkmate, or he just attaches to active, or switch. I don't know, he had a bunch of options, but just passing was wrong. And because he just passed, I was able to just go draw, attach to active, put now it's a 3 energy Turbo Strike 2 to bench to the Tina, so he can't even put that in the active and stick it for game. And he just conceded on that point, so I'm a 1-1. The next round I go up against Mirror Match, and basically I get the perfect turn 1, Welder, attach, the drill, and my opponent doesn't do the same. And he retreats into Latios, and then I come up and I pop the Latios. I hit it for 120, and then he does his turn, and that turn I think he should have clear vision in the Mirror, and he chose not to clear vision. So the next turn I tag purged once again, and then because I missed the custom catcher, I had 1 in hand, and I went Welder and I missed, and I was like, whatever. And then he came up, and he's like, now I have to clear vision because I can't double blaze you. I'm 1 energy short of double blazing. I'm like, correct. He's like, but you have the Charizard for 300. I'm like, correct. So he chose to do that, and then I just went Magcargo, knock him out, because now I have a bunch of energies on the board, and so I'm fine Magcargoing, and so he lost the Mirror. And then I went up against a Ability Zard. In this game, actually, I think I should have lost every single time. My opponent popped off, discarded Ninetales super early, and got 6 energy Heat Tran, kill my Mew3 on bench, turn 2, going first. And I was like, I literally lose this game. I can't win. So I just went in, and I knocked him out, knocked out the Heatran with, what did I even knock him out with? I think it might have just straight up been, I might have just straight up lava flowed that turn. I actually don't remember what I did, but I knocked it out, and then he made the play to go find No. He didn't Ninetales my Mewtwo. He discarded a Ninetales super early off of a lot of things, and he went calm for the second Ninetales in deck and just goes, I prized the Ninetales, I screwed up. So he 6 energy, one-shot my Muk, which I opened, unfortunately. So Big Boy got taken down real quick, and then I promoted my guy, and then I used Charizard's Flare Blitz 300 to knock him out, and I'm still in a pretty bad spot. So then he benches Victini, does some stuff, welders to Baby Blown, attaches to Victini, passes. So he's setting up 2 outs. I prize this guy, unfortunately, so I can't Venom Shot either of them. So unfortunately, I'm led to be put in a position where I just have to knock out the active and pray he can't kill me. And then he makes a sequence of plays that's very questionable, and then hits me with Victini, putting all the energies back in the deck. So I bump the Hearth with the Marshadow, resetting hole. And this is where I wish I had Stamp, because if I had Stamp, I don't think I can lose the game. So I bump it, I retreat into a different Mew 3, and then I hit him, and then he has 5 energy in hand, or 4 energy in hand, and he Viridian's, he does a bunch of stuff that just doesn't make sense, putting him at 5, and then his deck is at 5 cards, and I count it, I'm like, so if he Dedenne's here, he loses the game, and he realized that, and he pretty much just passed, and then I had double customs to knock out Dedenne for game that was on his bench, and I was like, oh my god, that was really close, I actually can't believe that happened, kind of thing. So the game came down to the wire, and I was shocked I even won. So now I'm 3-1. I go up against Will Jenkins, who won the cup today, playing Pikarom, and his start is just abysmal. He doesn't full blitz the whole game. He just doesn't full blitz. And my start's impeccable. I get the perfect pop off, knockout, Venom shots. I'm doing everything, and he just conceded a couple turns in. He had Plant, and I prized Marshadow, so he went Plant stamped 3. But Plant stamped to 4, and my 4 cards were double custom welder energy, so it didn't even matter. I would have hit a stadium, I think, and I would have been fine. So it really didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And then I AD'd with Blounds. I was pretty comfortable in the matchup. I felt like I could win it because of the Muk. And unfortunately, my opponent ended up being the guy who got 9th because of a bunch of his opponents losing. It was really the percentage was really close across the board, so unfortunate for him. And then top 8, I went up against Isaiah Bradner playing Pika. Game 1, I barely welded. The game was really unfortunate. It came down to the position where he went Paralyze my Mew 3, and I need to find a switch that turn, or he dies. And if not, I have another Mew 3 on bench to close out the game. I can't find the switch or the bills, and then he kills it, and then I have 1 blank in deck, literally 1 blank, and the rest of my deck is gear, bills, switch, acrobike. So there's literally no other way, and I'm like, okay, next turn I win. I literally cannot lose the game. Because he pops this, and then he does something. No, I had customs in deck too, so I just was waiting to hit the bills to get the customs, and then he blows my Mewtwo up after I hit the blank. And then I come up and I do my turn. I hit the blank again, the last blank in my deck, and I just don't have anything. And so I just go back into Mew 3, and I'm like, all right, Turbo Strike, do you have double customs? And he had double customs, nothing I could do. Again, Stamp would have been great here, or just not breaking. And then game 2, it came down to me prizing Solgaleo, because there was a turn where I had to knock out his Jirachi, going down to 2 prizes and leaving a Mewtwo on my bench. Mewtwo in the active with 3 or 4 energy, and the bench with 1 energy. I attached a Psychic for the turn. And if I had Turbo Strike, I would have just Turbo Strike, knocked it out, and powered 2 onto the bench, giving me the Magcargo out to win the game, because his only out is to come up and kill me with Zorora, which is what he did do. And then he went custom kill Dedenne with the Zorora, which really sucked. But I literally flipped over my deck, and I showed him at the end of the game, and my hand was 5 energy at this point, 5 fires, because he was out of stamps, and my deck was Welder, Hearth, Gear, Bike, and just outs, and he was like, that's so unfortunate. I'm like, yeah, it happens. I welded 3 times in 2 games. You live or you die by the Welder with this deck. But I think the deck Pika matchup is actually very favored. It just came down to an unfortunate series of events that lost me the game, and besides that, I think I had a pretty good chance at winning the whole event in Top Cut. And then yeah, today's cup I didn't play this, and I regret not playing it, and I think this is a really good deck for cups, BO1s, maybe even BO3s. I want to work with the list a little bit more. So thank you guys for watching. Check out I will be streaming this more. Check out my videos, check out everything, yada yada. Leave a like, subscribe, you know the drill. And I thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it.